And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to talk about some of the revenge games for 2024. So we'll get into that. Yeah, there was an article um, Adam Rank released. So I thought, all right, we'll look at these revenge games here. So one of the main ones is obviously the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley making his return to MetLife Stadium. Now, I thought I was saying this, and I'm like, look, the script is writing itself. With the Eagles playing in Brazil, they could have had them play against the Giants. You know, again, exclusive Peacock game that it's going to be on. You have Saquon Barkley against the Giants in Brazil the Friday of opening weekend. I mean, the script is right there. It's right there for you. And again, I was hoping that it would not happen, and it's not going to happen because it seems like it's going to be either the Packers or the Browns is going to be the opponent for the Eagles, which I'm fine with that. Should be a good game either way. But we will see these two teams match up at MetLife Stadium, and that is going to be a lot of fun because you got Saquon Barkley making his return to MetLife Stadium. Giant fans not happy that he left to go play for the Eagles. And we'll see what happens. It could be something that happens. I mean, I don't know. Like, they could have it being played earlier in the season. Because, well, let's see. Well, they did play at MetLife the final game of the regular season. So I think what you'll probably end up seeing is, well, actually, they played each other, twice in the last 3 weeks. So they put everything, they pushed that towards the end of the year. So maybe they want to have Barkley and the Giants play each other at the beginning of the season in MetLife, and then you have them playing Philly towards the end of the season, which again is a place that the Giants have not won in since 2013. They have not won in Philadelphia since 2013. Just think about that. They haven't won in Dallas since 2016. So it's been a long time, but the Giants continue to beat Washington. That we don't have to worry about that. I mean, the only time they didn't was with Joe Judge, but we don't count that. So that's one of the revenge games. Then I guess the 49ers and the Chiefs will play each other in 2024. I want to just double check on that because I'm not. I didn't know. I didn't realize that the Chiefs had the 49ers on their schedule in 2024 because they did just play each other. Yeah, no, they play them in San Francisco. Oh, so that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess it's because that's just that extra regular season game where they're playing against a random NFC opponent, and it just so happens that it's the 49ers who they just played in the Super Bowl. So that should be a lot of fun. That's a matchup that could be. Again, the schedule comes out, in May. So I don't know I mean, could this game be on Sunday night? Could it be on Fox, CBS? I mean, could it be on Monday night? Because that's what they had the Eagles and the Chiefs when they had the Eagles and Chiefs play in Arrowhead. So they could have them play on Monday night. We'll see. But I mean, we got a great game from the Super Bowl. I mean, it looked like it was going to be pretty lackluster in the beginning, but ended up turning into an all-timer, especially because that game was so close to going into double overtime, which I would have loved to have seen. Yeah, I mean, the 49ers, they're going to want to avenge their Super Bowl loss. I feel like that game might be played earlier in the season. I don't know. I mean, I might be completely wrong. But, I mean, if the 49ers ended up winning the Super Bowl, this matchup probably would have been the first game of the year. So, but we will see. We will see. Cowboys Commanders, I mean, he had just because Dan Quinn, is the head coach of the Commanders now. So, I mean, I don't really. It's Cowboys Commanders. See, it's different with the Eagles and the Giants because Saquon Barkley a player left the Giants, a star player left to go join a rival. This, I mean, it's a defensive coordinator taking another coaching job elsewhere. Now, maybe the Cowboys want to get revenge because, like, hey, our defense, it's your fault that our defense did it. Maybe the fans say that, look at this game and say, you made our defense play poorly against the Packers in the playoffs, so we want to take it to you. I don't know. But I don't know. We'll see. Actually, another big one, Steelers-Broncos. So if Russell Wilson is the starter for this game, if they have not switched over to Justin Fields, which, again, I don't know. Russell Wilson will probably be the starter. So he's going to be going up against the Broncos. This is going to be in Denver. Russell Wilson's going to want to get his revenge. Well, I mean, he might not show it, but I think he's going to want to stick it to the Broncos because, the Sean Payton relationship, it was rocky, especially when you see him screaming at Russell Wilson on the sidelines on national TV versus the Lions on that Saturday night. That's an enticing revenge game there. And, again, maybe Russell Wilson's going to want to go out there and try to stick it to his former team. But we will see. You also got the AFC Championship game rematch, an NFC Championship game rematch, the Ravens and the Chiefs. This game is going to be in Arrowhead, which seems like it's always in Arrowhead, even though, well, I shouldn't say that, because the AFC Championship game this past year was in Baltimore, and then the last two times that Mahomes and Lamar Jackson faced off against each other, it was in Baltimore. And Lamar Jackson did beat Patrick Mahomes, which I think, if the Chiefs didn't make costly errors in that game, Lamar Jackson would remain winless against Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, the Ravens are going to have to go back to Arrowhead, take on the Chiefs there, which is going to be, this is so far in advance. But, again, exciting. And then you got the 49ers and the Lions. Lions, they will be going back to San Francisco for this game. I expect it to be a solid game. The Lions, they had a 17-point lead, and they blew it. And we could have very well have seen the game that started off the season in the Super Bowl. That's what it looked like it was going to be. Lions-Chiefs, but we did not get that. We instead, we still got a very good game. But the Lions, people look at Dan Campbell's coaching, his over-aggressiveness as one of the reasons why the Lions ended up losing. They didn't run the football as well as they did in the first half, because they were really carving up that 49ers defense, running the football with Montgomery and Gibbs. They should have stuck to it. But for some reason, it just did not pan out that way. And, yeah, they ended up losing that lead. I talked about the Ayuk catch yesterday. That kind of changed the momentum of the whole game. But that's another enticing game rematch to look forward to. You got the Packers and the Vikings as well. Again, running back going from one team to another in the same division, Aaron Jones. Now, the difference is Saquon Barkley left the Giants to go to the Eagles. He was already a free agent. The Packers cut Aaron Jones, and then he signed with the Vikings. So a little bit different, but still the same thing, going from one team to another in the same division. So that should be an enticing... well, we'll see what the Vikings end up doing at quarterback, because, again, I like the Vikings roster a lot, but the quarterback situation is a little bit of a problem with Sam Darnold. So, he also had a couple of AFC South matchups. With the Jaguars and Titans one, that's kind of enticing just because the Titans ended the Jaguar season, and you also have Calvin Ridley on the Titans now, so that's something to look forward to. Also, he also had the Texans and the Titans on here as well. The Texans signed ex-Titan players. I think because, yeah, they added Danico Autry. The AFC South is going to be, again, it's going to be fun to watch because, in past years really hasn't been that competitive. 2024 is going to be competitive. Again, there's question marks with Will Levis still, but the Titans did add pieces around him on offense. They traded for L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, they should be a competitive team. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but they could be competitive, especially in this division. So, even though, again, the division's going to be tougher. But it should be fun when all these teams match up against each other. Bills and Dolphins. You got Jordan Poyer facing his former team. Obviously, the Bills, they swept the season series with the Dolphins last season. And yeah, and the Bills ended up being the number 2 seed in the playoffs. Again, it didn't really matter because the Chiefs ended up beating them. But the Bills kind of derailed the Dolphins' season. I mean, you got to remember the Dolphins are 3-0, a 70-point win against, or 70-point win, but 70 points they scored against the Broncos, and then they go to Buffalo, and Buffalo wins, 48-20, something like that. So the Bills kind of gave the Dolphins a reality check, and yeah, so both those games should be enticing during the year. Also, Ravens, Bengals. At least, you got Geno Stone, who the Bengals signed. He'll be playing against the Ravens, his former team. So, but it's going to be fun with the healthy Joe Burrow, how these teams go against each other. Because at least, the first game was close, but like Burrow was not healthy. Well, Burrow wasn't healthy in both games. But at least in the second game, you thought this game was going to go back and forth. And then once Burrow got hurt with the wrist injury, that was it. The Ravens took over that game. So, but yeah, those are all the revenge games. Let me know what you guys think. Which revenge game are you most excited for? I mean, you look at the championship games, the Super Bowl rematch. Those are the big ones. But then you also got, like I said, Saquon Barkley facing the Giants in MetLife. That should be fun. Aaron Jones making his return to Green Bay. And some AFC South and AFC North rematches as well. And, also Russell Wilson facing off against the Broncos, too. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about the revenge games for next season. So, we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the smart moves that were made by teams this offseason. I'll get into that. Also, other moves as well that have been made over the last day. Nothing major. The Chiefs signing a backup quarterback, which I'll get into, because I kind of teased it earlier when talking about Kenny Pickett not really wanting to stick around in Pittsburgh. But I'll talk about it when we come back from our final break of the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.